The writer of Hebrews begins his great chapter on faith by reminding us that faith is the assurance of things hoped for. It's the confidence that we have in God for what we hope for and long for. And it's the evidence of things not seen. It's about being able to see by faith what is still yet unseen to us. And he tells us that that's what the men of old were commended for. As navigators, as we look into the future, among many other things that God promises to us, we see a vision of the future as expressed in this beautiful narrative statement of our vision, which is the third part of our core. And it begins with this beautiful statement about seeing a vital movement of the gospel flowing freely through relational networks and out into the nations. We see a movement of the gospel. We're already part of a movement, a generational movement that began with those sailors back in the 1930s on that one battleship and is now touching people in over 100 countries around the world. But we long for more. We long to see this movement, this generational movement of laborers carrying us to the point where we ultimately see workers for the kingdom next door to everywhere in our world, so that no young person anywhere has to grow up without meeting a laborer, a worker for the kingdom, who can introduce them to the love of Jesus. And then our vision goes on to describe what characterizes this movement. And in the next three paragraphs, paragraph 2, 3, and 4 of our vision statement, as you look on it and reflect it, see how paragraph 2 describes the aroma of Christ that characterizes this movement. Fragrant with humility and the aroma of Christ. But this movement is also marked by a deep engagement with the scriptures as the Word of God. A commitment to believe the promises of God and to seek the purposes of God in His Word. It's also characterized by laborers and leaders emerging. Laborers and leaders who, as spiritual parents, model authenticity and relevance, and who have a growing commitment to Christ-likeness. But I love also the way that the last three paragraphs of our vision statement describe the roles that these laborers and leaders play. Paragraph 5 is about local laborers, insiders, we often call them. Ordinary people in many walks of life, joyfully living integrated lives and living as fruitful insiders among the lost where God has placed them. Paragraph 6 describes the vital role of pioneers. Teams of mobile pioneers crossing cultures, entering new cities and nations, intentionally embodying and proclaiming the good news of Jesus Christ so that transformed communities of men and women are multiplied. We believe God for thousands upon thousands of people like this everywhere, who will be the carriers of our ministry and our movement into new contexts and new cities and new campuses and new military bases. And then we also are believing God for leaders. And as you look at that final paragraph, you'll see that it addresses the need for local, national, and international leaders. And it talks about an international leadership community bringing focus, alignment, and energy to our movement and being clearly committed to long-term impact in generational ministry. So I hope these ideas help you and that this will prompt you to engage with our vision statement in a new way, not just for your understanding, but to spur your faith and to guide your prayers as you pray for the ministry in your own local context, in your own nation, and also as you pray for our movement around the world, so that we will indeed see this vital movement of the gospel that we're believing God for, flowing freely into the nations until there are workers for the kingdom next door to everywhere.